I want to bitch and moan for a second. Tuesday, Webflow went down for like 9+ hours, and oh my god, my life. Like,
damn, that's the first I've heard of them going down.
It's the worst incident, I think, in all of my experience with Webflow. And
what happened?
I don't know. Nobody has said anything. My guess, to be honest, is the fact that they rolled out like an auto-saving feature, the CMS thing, which is really cool on making people's lives, like, people love it from what I can see on Twitter. I'm just guessing, like, I don't know, some auto-scaling fucked up or something.
The ability to combine LLMs with code that does things reliably is actually really fucking powerful. It's still a little wonky, but like it can be really fucking powerful. The new hotness right now that I'm seeing in developer circles is like Claude Code, and there's a couple of others that basically like they'll generate tasks for you. They're essentially generating like PRDs or like, very detailed context on what you want the AI to build and how you want it to build it.
What's up?
Your energy is different after we hit record than it was before.
I know. I gotta turn it on. I gotta turn it on for the podcast.
What's going on, man?
I can't believe we both just went like double peace signs on an audio podcast, by the way.
We have video now, Sean.
We do. We have great intros.
If somebody would ever approve the latest videos to go live, then we would have even more video.
Yeah. That sounds like a job for someone.
Hey, we have a new episode up.
Yeah.
Someone finally approved something.
Yeah. I'm working on it. I'm doing
it.
It just sounds like a job for someone who doesn't have 30 hours of meetings a week right now. So
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've been trying to meet with you and JJ at the same time lately, and trying to find overlap where neither of you has a meeting is almost impossible.
It is. It is pretty much impossible.
Are you sure you want to go out? Can we pause real quick?
Yeah, sure. Okay, welcome back.
Thank you. Po' Boy wanted out of the office, but also Wally, the guy who works on our house, is over. And so then Po' Boy was immediately terrified and regretted his choice to leave the office and ran and hid under the covers of the bed.
Gotcha.
It's pretty funny and kind of adorable. Like when our cat wants to hide from something, he just hides under the covers, and it's like the most obvious lump in the entire world. So it's a completely ineffective hiding place, but he feels safe because he can't see anything.
Look, man, if I can't see you, you can't see me. That's how it works.
He's an adorable, dumb little fuckhead, and I appreciate him. Yeah. Trying to get time on your calendar right now is tough.
Yeah. Same. Me too. It's like you start the day with yesterday's to-do list, you have a bunch of meetings, and you end the day with a new compounded to-do list.
So what's going on? I thought you were like removing yourself from a lot of client work, and what are all these meetings?
So I am ish, but I also am not, because it's pre-Blackhat crunch time, and I really have, like, I think I need to be there, like, to help just get things across the finish line. We launched the site last week. We just launched the site today. We launched the site like the week before. Now we're in another monthly sprint to launch like 2 more sites. Plus every single client wants a brand audit, because they work with us at the early stage. We build them a brand. It works really well for the first phase, and they all reach a point where like they need to advance it, which is fine. It's normal. It happens with every single client. They just all consolidated onto the same last couple of weeks.
Interesting. So you're actually doing a brand audit of your own branding work?
Yes.
Huh. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, it's because like,
sort of seems like a racket, but
Fair. I mean, it's not like we're charging for them, so it's part of
Wait,
the
why are you
retainer.
not charging for
It's
them?
part of the retainer. It's part of the, it's
Oh,
you
okay,
know,
okay, 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 okay.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like it's
You're
time to
charging
evolve.
for them, but you're not charging separately for them.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly,
okay.
exactly. So it's like half a racket. No, it's when you are an early stage company, you are asking for very specific things to get you up and running,
Yeah.
right? And over a year or so, as you grow, like lore gets built about your company, more meaning, your product changes, your content strategy changes, and all this sort of stuff, and like at some point it evolves past what the branding that we did in the beginning can support, and honestly what the branding they paid for can support,
Mm-hmm.
which is totally fine, because it's like, there's no reason that we start off and you pay us a bunch of money to do all this thinking about your brand for you to like possibly never even use it because you are still in that PMF stage, like finding PMF stage. But yeah, a bunch of brand, and also competitors exist, and the competitors copy you, and it's like, and now at this point we just bill invoices to some security companies because every time we do something it shows up on their site. I'm just like, dude.
Dang, shots fired.
Yeah,
You want to call names?
no, absolutely not. Absolutely. No, security companies, we love you all, equally. But if you would like someone to just do, if you like work from the source, you just you know
We
hit
love
us
the
up.
ones that pay us money more. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, that's fair. We do love the ones that pay us money more.
You
Yeah,
can buy our love. It's
you can. It is for sale.
yeah,
Mine and yours currently are.
kind of expensive actually, but you can
Mm,
buy it.
it's 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 an investment. Okay, it's an investment piece. Um, like, yeah, I think I'm just helping as much as I can get things across the finish line.
Nice.
And it's just like,
So
everyone's got something. So
we had a client ask us this week, which is like, how do you balance the future vision for where you want the product to go in your
mm,
like positioning statement and brand versus like the shit you can actually do right now? Because you don't want to overpromise, under deliver, then you
yeah,
have high churn and people like try out your product and they're like, this is fucking bullshit.
mm,
But
like
you
Devin.
also don't want to like like you want to hint at where you're going and
Yeah,
give yourself that room to change and evolve,
yeah.
and stuff. So how do you guys think about that?
Um, so I know which client you're talking about. I think like product roadmap is a thing. Like knowing what your actual wedge is a big part of it. To me, brand strategy is business strategy, is product strategy, is all of it, or at least all of it informs each other. So there's that. It's uh, like uh, at some point, every plenty of companies, their vision grows, or and even if their vision grows, or they've always had the vision of like becoming this like full multi product platform, like a Palo, right? And like or they get acquired into this sort of thing. But for the most part, if you want to survive, you um you really like, there's so few companies that can like reach Palo size without becoming multi-product. um Actually, I would say it's probably impossible to become like a Palo CrowdStrike size company without being a multi-product company. At some point, I think all of these SaaS companies become like software manufacturers and build things.
Yeah.
Anyway,
At the same time, I feel
um,
like a lot of them try to do that, make that change way too early, but that's
definitely,
yeah.
definitely. Um, so I think it's like, what it like. Usually, there's one product. Usually, the product has a limited set of capabilities, but there are opinions about said why those capabilities exist, and that's what like messaging and brand is built off of. Um, and you take on like context from like what the current market is, what competitors exist, Gartner categories, how you actually sort of like are different that way, and then we just try to start there before getting into like the dream state. A lot of times we also like with brand, the creative director at Collins. I'm blanking on his name. Brian Collins. Yeah, Brian Collins has a thing about how designers are time travelers. They bring the future of what you are to like to the present, to the client. And I've always kind of had that mental model. And even if we present to you like a future state, there are things to cut back on because like businesses are fundamentally promises at its core, and you don't want to not deliver on said promise because brand and reputation over time is built on keeping that promise alive and or delivering on that promise consistently. Which is also
So
why. Yeah, go ahead.
so let's get concrete.
Okay.
You've got hindsight and you know too much about this, so it might not be the
Mhm.
perfect example, but like my vision when we were starting MetaMonster was AI powered Screaming Frog.
Yeah.
What we delivered V1 was generate page titles and meta descriptions. How
Yeah.
would you have like thought about our brand and specifically like our positioning? Like what would you have made the H1 of MetaMonster knowing that you like wanted to be AI powered Screaming Frog, and like you and I have seen AI powered Screaming Frog gets clicks,
Hmm.
but like at the same time, you know, when I tried to show people videos after calling us an AI powered Screaming Frog, they were like, "This is not Screaming Frog, bro." And I was like, "Yeah."
um I think a couple things. One, like one is that you are a bootstrap company and you operate very differently than a VC funded company. And I know that's a cop out. But just to put that out there compared to the like one of our clients, right?
I
Um,
don't know. I think maybe VC backed companies, especially in today's climate, should act a little bit more like bootstrap companies. Like they still need to make sales. They still need to,
Agreed.
yeah,
Ish, but yes, agreed.
yeah.
To
I
unlock
think
the
more of
next round
them
of
should try
funding.
to make sales. I'm becoming
Yeah,
increasingly convinced that that like being like we're a VC backed company, we don't give a fuck about sales is like not a winning strategy, because it
I,
just like sales
I don't
are
think.
like a valid way to like validate whether what you're building is actually valuable or not.
uh, Um, I know there's a couple clients that we've had that have had that mentality. I agree. Fundamentally, you need sales because sales is how you unlock, like ARR is how you unlock like the next stage of funding, right?
And
Um,
it's also how you prove that you've built something useful.
yeah, same difference. But yes, you're right. Um, um, Agreed. I honestly think most seed stage companies should operate half like a services company and like a tech enabled service to prove out their product.
Mm,
But because I think you'll learn a lot about how not great part of your product is once like because it's I think it's easier to sometimes to buy a service because it's cheaper, and you get to use it and you get to see the client's reaction to it and it becomes like a paid trial.
yeah.
And for the people that we've kind of pushed to try that, we've seen it work. um
Alex recommended that we tried that with MetaMonster,
mhm,
and I could never figure out like what the offering was. I didn't spend a whole lot of time thinking about it. Maybe if I'd thought a little bit harder, I could have found something. But
mhm.
like, I could figure out the offering for like Mike Privet. It was like, okay, cool. I'll do an SEO audit for you, and
Mhm,
I'll give you like recommendations and everything.
mhm.
Um, but for SEO agencies, like they don't. I don't think they want to buy an SEO audit. Maybe they wanted. Maybe I could have tested like, hey, do you want to buy like someone creating optimized page titles and meta descriptions for you? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know how I would sell to an SEO agency off the top of my head. Well, to go back the reason I brought it up to go back to your question is like um uh I think like the thing with MetaMonster was that um the thing with like V1 of MetaMonster was that you approached it as like let's build this tool and just like focus on like getting meta descriptions right or
Hmm.
meta titles and descriptions right, which at this point is like a tiny module in the grand scheme of that. um so to me, like um like it feels like it's two separate situations a little bit in my head, because to me it's like the difference between like cool tool that got maybe misrepresented as AI powered screaming frog versus like platform vision that you can scale back into like specific little tiny modules and present that vision as, I don't know, something. Maybe it's AI powered screaming frog, even if though the future vision is like all these other sort of clay for SEO agencies, right? Um, uh, I think that hmm,
It's hard. It's hard to figure out like
mhm,
how concrete to be in the early days
mhm,
versus how much to sell on the future.
yeah,
Um, and like ideally, your product is evolving constantly, like you were talking about earlier. And so
mhm,
if you're like too stuck in the present, it's going to be outdated really fast. But
for sure. I think one way you can approach it, um, in terms of like the objection that like, hey, this is an AI powered screaming frog, is that like yes, but that is what we're getting to. Do you want to be an early design partner of our product? And they kind of push
mm,
that way. That's one thing that
mm,
we see clients do as well, is like, they like at enterprise, like they are selling this vision, but it's to lock in future like potential revenue if they accomplish said things.
yeah.
Again, right, very different because they have all this VC money and
Well,
are, mhm,
interestingly, obviously VC and bootstrapped, you're going to take different strategies. Although
mhm,
again, I kind of am coming to believe that like more VC companies should like act like bootstrapped companies with more resources, which is kind of what they are. Like they should still try to like build a fundamentally sound business, but then
agreed.
be willing to like set money on fire to test things way faster.
Mhm,
Um, so like, you know, you still want to build something that people want to buy, adopt, use. It's
mhm,
just you can like run more experiments and run them faster with experts instead
mhm,
of having to do it all yourself. Um, but the enterprise aspect is pretty different
mhm,
because like we are not building an enterprise product, and so you know if you're going into an enterprise, then convincing an enterprise to work with a startup, maybe you do have to sell the future vision um, to convince them that it's worth their time. In addition to being like, here's what we can do for you today,
mhm.
and
I do
balance
want
those
to
two things.
I do want to touch on the uh that thing about like services for SEO agencies. Um,
Sure,
I don't know. One of the
we can
22
riff on it.
subscribers we have on YouTube, if you want to leave ideas in the notes, that'd be very helpful. Um, but I don't know what service, if I'm an SEO agency, what service would I buy? I would buy.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
go ahead.
here's an idea.
Uh huh.
We could. I don't think most agencies would buy this, but
Yeah.
like top tier agencies might pay us to build custom like RAG pipelines for them,
Hmm.
like build some AI tooling for them.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have to be totally custom. It could be build it with off the shelf stuff, but like I could see an forward. I mean, literally, my friend who runs an AI agency, like or runs an SEO agency, has been hiring people to is trying to hire someone to do
Yeah.
that for him. So like
Yeah.
write prompts and build tooling.
Yeah. I think that's a. I mean, I think that's a great one. Whether it's like I think there's like a couple of different things you can do, right? I think like one is like build tooling, whether it's like N8N or like custom agents or a like RAG for them, but also like uh, doing like prompt engineering workshops.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's also like internal training at larger agencies. That's also another thing. And then they can see like that at play for like how it's used in MetaMonster
That's a really
in
cool idea.
V1.
Yeah, there's something
Um,
really cool there. Like, which again kind of comes back to like maybe MetaMonster is less of an AI powered screaming frog and more like I keep thinking
mhm,
more and more that I want to position it against like Chat GPT rather than Screaming Frog. Like it's like
mhm,
when you've exhausted the limits of what you can get out of Chat GPT and you need a better interface,
yeah,
like MetaMonster is the interface for SEOs, the like
yeah,
AI interface for SEOs, something like that.
I think so. Um,
But that's like that scares me because it feels like category creation, which is generally a losing battle for bootstrappers. So I'm trying to figure out like how
I'm
to
starting
position it.
to this is like an interesting thing. I'm starting to wonder how good that advice is in an AI world.
Don't create a category.
Yeah, yeah. Like category creation is expensive. I agree category creation is expensive, but I think one of the reasons it's been expensive is because of like the willingness to try new things, and AI inherently is so cool that there is a willingness. Like I think that's why AI powered screaming frog got clicks,
Mm-hmm.
and across a bunch of our clients, like when they're outbound just says AI blank, like AI tool alternative or AI and then job role, like
Mm-hmm.
that has the most open rates across the board. um
I think we're also seeing because it's like a massive wave. We're seeing
mhm,
categories get created really fast
mhm,
um, because it's just like new technology, new like wave
mhm,
categories are going to be created out of that. And so maybe it's not that we have to create a category ourselves, but maybe we can find one of these new categories to like slot into and grow
yeah,
with.
yeah,
Like
I
we don't
agree.
have to be the very first, you know,
Mhm,
like, like we're not Clay. We're not having
yeah,
to invent the like agentic, you
yeah,
workflow builder sort of thing, but
yeah,
like we can sort of fit into one of these new kind of
mhm,
AI native categories.
yeah,
Um, and
yeah.
maybe those categories are going to disappear in a couple of years and AI will truly be integrated into everything, but I'm not so sure.
I mean, I also think it's like not worth. I think you're right in terms of like like because you're building an AI product, this is the time to just try to catch waves slash latch onto different things. Um, because there's a high willingness to try. I think that the the concern of like, oh, will AI just be like, I I, I think 6 months from now, like the product will be like like the product and thinking will be matured, and you'll see more out of it. I think a year or 2 years from now, like
Yeah.
the strategy needs to change. It's not like, you know, it's not like you can do the latching on forever, but it makes sense right now. Um,
On the flip side, like
mhm,
I can't help but feel like we help you like even the workshop thing, like we help you learn how to use AI better.
mhm,
It's not the end goal. It's not like the real progress they want in their lives. Like
mhm,
maybe they want to be able to use AI better, but like why? Like what's the causation there? Like they want to use AI better because they want to continue to compete with other agencies,
mhm.
and they want to use AI better because they want to be seen as forward thinking. They want to use AI better because and so I don't want to get too, I don't know.
Well, I think
I'm trying to do a better job of tying things back to like the jobs to be done, the progress people want to see in their lives.
um, I think in terms of like the prompt engineering training for SEO agencies, uh, the reason I like offering like a sidecar service is because it just gives you much more insight, right? If you are
Yeah.
coming in as a prompt engineering consultant, you will see the things they want to automate, and therefore it informs your product more, because you'll see a trend across a bunch of things.
100%.
Um, I think that's the value of that. Um, yeah, I mean, I think in terms of like, I think all the reasons you said of like why someone wants to use AI, I think that's all. I think that's all true.
So anyway, back to the original question. If you've
Yeah.
got big grand vision, but you can only do a little bit now, what's the right way to position yourself, or like what's the right way to create a brand?
Um, I think you latch on to the wedge. Um, I think there's like ways to differentiate, right? You can differentiate by the folks you're targeting. You can differentiate by like a key unique feature that others don't have. You can also differentiate by like a degree of like where X thing but way better, and or whatever, which I always hate as a general messaging thing, and for brand. Um I think so like in my brain, um I think there's a big grand vision for the current state of MetaMonster. um I would just I think you could scale the vision back, and um, I think you can scale the vision back into like what other core modules you'll want to sort of release with, um, and what core use cases you want to target. I just think that just meta descriptions and meta titles was a weaker use case,
Oh, totally. Yeah.
but yeah, you know that, or
Yeah.
we've
We picked a
spoken about
bad
that.
wedge. We picked a bad starting
Mhm.
point. Um,
I mean, I think you picked a great starting point for. I think you picked a great starting point for, like, let's get this out so that we can think like this, and like figure out all the problems that exist
yeah.
when building these things.
I guess if the two starting points we were considering were like internal linking or like meta descriptions, internal linking is its own beast that is kind of
Mhm.
like the tooling we're building now. We're still not exactly sure how we're going to want to do internal linking within it, because internal
Mhm.
linking is just like a totally different model. But anyway,
Yeah,
um,
you would
so
almost.
okay, I
Mhm.
think what you're saying is like when you're an early stage startup and you've got like big grand vision, you want to build a brand that like hints at the vision but is focused on the differentiators now.
Yeah, and I think you can think about like we did this exercise with a client where like, um we kind of just did like a now, like a current state, like near future, and then like a future
Now
state, and
next
just
later,
easy to. Yeah,
you're a
yeah,
product
thanks.
manager.
Yeah, thanks. Um yeah, I mean, we kind of just did that with them, and like, they had a now, which was AI something, and then a lot of the work was to work on, and they had a now, and they basically had a later. um so the goal was to figure out how to like bridge that gap of the in between, and it was to
Yeah,
call out like specific, like there were specific things about their product that worked better for a type of infrastructure. So that was a big part of it. And then there were specific workflows and stuff that to like call out that would map to like jobs to be done or use cases. And I think that's where we got to with it, of like what business outcomes can you deliver on right now, was one of
mm-hmm.
the drivers of the message. um, with the goal that like as they build the product, they will fall into this larger, Gartner category. um, yeah, and I mean, I think you can apply it the same way. I think one of the things that came to mind about like why VC and Bootstrap is different is because, uh, with Bootstrap it is permissionless and you get to just make the thing, whereas with VC startups, you have pitched a vision to a bunch of people. They've given you money for said thing, and now it's the work back plan of like, how do we get to, you know,
That's true. That's
yeah.
interesting. Yeah. Because you do need the grand vision to sell
Hmm.
VCs. I think this is the
Hmm.
hard thing about being a VC backed CEO in particular is you've got to constantly be holding the future vision and the
Yeah.
now in your hand, and the future vision's got to be big, or
Yeah.
else you don't get investment.
Yeah.
And for a bootstrapper, my future vision can be like a couple steps from where we are now, and that's fine. But
Mhm.
like for a VC backed company, you need this like big vision, and being able to like rein yourself in and get concrete on what you can do now is hard.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Challenges. I think challenges the both. Um, I mean, regardless, like I, I, I think the current future state vision of MetaMonster makes a lot of sense to me. One of the things that one of our clients pushes back on or asks a lot about is like how much should marketing be ahead of product? Um, and so, for example, like we did a solutions brief for them, right? And we list integrations that were coming soon in the next quarter as part of their architecture. 100% we did, um, because like I don't see a reason not to do that. Um, um, and I think yeah, I think but we didn't go as far as to like you know I like list ones that we know they're not going to be working on until a year from now, or we're not listing out it's like a 10% bump on what their current capabilities are because
Mm.
they're working towards it already. Like it's on their near term roadmap
Yeah.
versus like you know they are now the AI CISO, for example, which is not even close to what they can do yet, but could do in the future. So
I like that as a guideline, like a 10%
mhm,
bump on what you can do
yeah,
now. Anything that you could realistically say is coming soon, and then
mhm,
you can designate this is
yeah, two
coming
quarters ahead.
soon.
Yeah, yeah,
10% bump. Cool.
yeah. That's a number I pull out of my ass. I don't even know how you would measure that. To be honest with you, I think 2 quarters ahead. I think you can sell. Well, okay, sorry. I think you can sell 2 quarters ahead in enterprise because your sales cycles are so fucking long.
Yeah.
Anyway, so maybe in this case with like Meta Monster, maybe like a quarter ahead, three
A
months
month
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, 2 months. Yeah, what, me in the middle.
Maybe. We'll see. Um,
How are things going?
I've been playing around with the new grid a lot. You have access, by the way, if you wanna poke at it. I
Mhm.
can send you my prompt library if you want
Cool.
to. I think I'm going to turn this into a piece of content at some point. By the way, is just be like, here's all our prompts. If you want to use them in ChatGPT, fucking go for it. It's going to be a pain in the ass. Have fun.
Sweet.
Like make it a downloadable or something like that.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah.
or just give it a. Maybe I won't even make it a downloadable. I should make it a downloadable.
I think you should
Um,
make it a downloadable, but then give it away on social one at a time.
oh yeah, 100%,
Mhm.
totally. God, then I gotta go
Post
write
in
all of
social.
those. Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck.
Sorry.
I have not done my task. By the way, I have not uh, recorded my video, and part of that is because um, one, I was procrastinating until right before this call, and then I
Nice.
started. The same thing happened to me a couple videos ago where I was like trying to show off a new feature that we were building, and then I started testing the feature, and it was just like a rabbit hole time suck of like figuring out how to get the most out of the new feature.
Mhm.
AI is so fucking weird in that you can do anything, but like getting it to do what you want it to do is just
Mhm.
like takes massaging
Yeah.
and practice and tweaking and stuff. And so
Yeah.
basically what I'm saying is the product's not fucking working right now. It it sometimes you'll have the experience where you'll like run a prompt and you'll be like, holy fuck, that was cool. Like
Yeah.
that took so little time. Like, simple stuff, like, you know, if I want to extract the H1 from a page, and I so before this call, I was trying to extract the H1s from a page.
Mhm.
Um, and like before, adding an H1 to our product would have taken a writing some code and you know and then like publishing that code and having new buttons and designing new features. Now it's just you know enrich, slap a prompt in here, run it, test it, see if it works, tweak it, and now we've got all the H1s extracted. Um, and then like at first it wasn't working because the we had a bug where we weren't storing the HTML content in the grid. Like it's stored on the page crawl, but it's not converted over to like the grid structure yet.
Mm.
But then I was like, all right, I'll just adapt the prompt for right now to go off of the markdown content that is being stored in the grid. And so boom, I had H1s, and like, again, it's like coding with words. It's
Yeah.
when it works, it feels fucking magical, and you're like, holy shit, I see the future. This is so cool.
Yeah.
And then I try to get it to check to see if keywords are in the H1, and it's like, nope, no keywords in this H1. And I'm like, the H1 is literally the keyword. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And it's like, nope, I don't see it. Not here.
Only 2 R's in strawberry.
I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
So yeah, I am currently like testing. I've got this big library of prompts that I spent, several hours working with Claude this week to create.
Mm-hmm.
And they're super thorough, and they're not all working. So I got to figure out why they're not working, figure out, where we need to build tools and expose those tools to the AI.
Yeah.
And where I just need a better prompt, or need to try it with a different model, or give it better input or something like that.
So I learned something the other day. I'm like hounding this founder to let me put an angel check into at this point.
Cool.
They're doing a lot of stuff. I'll tell you off the call. But one of the things I learned is like, I think Olama, you can test prompts with Olama because it's cheaper, because it's locally hosted, or you can locally host it, and then after you get more confidence in the prompt, then ship to production to like OpenAI, and that's like a way that you can reduce costs when fine tuning all of your.
Yeah, from what I understand, like prompts aren't always one-to-one between different models. Like I saw this when I was testing our like original title and meta description prompt. Like Claude had different biases than ChatGPT, and so
Yeah.
like the word list that I had for ChatGPT, like saying don't use these words, didn't apply to Claude, and there were all new words that I started
Right.
noticing it repeating all over the place. So prompts
Right.
aren't always one-to-one between models. I can totally see that being effective. Also, like the kind of testing we're doing is pretty fucking cheap, so I don't
Fair.
care. I'm happy to test it on broad.
Fair. Specifically, Olama and ChatGPT being like, they're not one to one, but they're similar enough.
Oh,
That's what I. Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Um,
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting that you were, because of this, like the side effect is that you become like a power user of the product. I mean, I think I meet plenty of CEOs that are not, so I think.
That's one of the things that has me hyped about this direction, is like ideally the marketing is me using the product, and we use the product to build the product. Like we want a new feature, we use the product to like test the prompts until we get them working, and then we roll out that prompt as a template, and
Yeah.
that's a new like feature.
Right. And you've experienced all the edge cases that could happen, or a lot of the edge cases that can happen, and all the different nuances. So you are now the best user of the product.
That's
Yeah.
the goal. So
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
I mean, it is, yeah, it's already cool. You can, so you can choose your context from different, you can choose your context. You can write a prompt. You can define your output and as one or more columns. So you can also create multiple columns at once.
Oh, cool.
You
Nice.
can, set your output to be text, HTML, Markdown, URLs, numbers, single selects, multi selects, even. Like you can do
Cool.
like all
Oh, you
sorts
guys
of
have been
different.
cooking. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Austin has been flying. Claude
Yeah.
Code, he
Uh-huh.
said, is like superpowers. He's like, it is a level up
Really nice.
from even Cursor.
Nice.
I've been hearing this from other people too, that like, and this is, by the way, this is something that's been really interesting and weird. I feel like with so many tech waves before. There's like a hype cycle, and I hear the really hypey, the hype beasts talking about like, oh, this is the next thing, this is the next thing, and I'm like, you guys are full of shit, and it all dies out.
Yeah, at some point your camera doesn't need more megapixels. You don't need it, like I don't
Yeah,
care.
or like NFTs aren't going to suddenly make crypto work, right?
Yeah, yeah.
With AI, I've had that same experience of like, um, people have been hyping up agents for like
Hmm.
if you're in nerdy tech circles, people have been hyping up agents for like almost the last year.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, okay. And then it's like, oh no, agents, the ability to
Mhm.
combine LLMs with code that does things reliably is actually really fucking powerful. It's still a little wonky, but like it can be really fucking powerful. And then like the new hotness right now that I'm seeing in developer circles is like Claude Code, and there's a couple of others that basically like they'll generate tasks for you. They're essentially generating like PRDs or like very detailed context on what you want the AI to build and how you want it to build it.
Hmm.
Um, and then you can go in and edit that context and everything, and then feed that to an agent, and then like work with the agent task by task. And
Yeah.
like this is the workflow that the I'm hearing people say is like really changing how they build.
Hmm.
Um, and Claire Liu, do you know her?
Mm-mm.
She's
What is that?
she's head of product at like a venture backed startup, but she built this thing like a year ago or more than a year ago called Chat PRD. Um,
Oh, I've seen that website. I've referenced
and
that website.
she's been saying for ages that like, you know, if you use AI to generate a PRD and then feed that to something like Cursor, it's more effective. And I was always, again, I'm a little bit of a skeptic at heart. And so I was kind of like, I don't know that this is really going to be that powerful.
Hmm.
And now this is the thing that like people are swearing by. And so it's kind of challenging some of my skepticism radars, to be part of a tech wave that's maybe based in some amount of reality. But then again, at the same time, like, people swear AI is going to change the world. And right now, I can't get it to tell that building the ultimate SEO sidekick contains SEO sidekick.
Nice. That's
So,
um.
all this is to say, like, there's so much fucking hype, and I think some of it is real. And also,
What do
this
you
stuff is
remember
still
the
hard and
last
weird.
time you like uh this became like a bro about something? Like like a crypto bro or like a they're
I,
like bought in.
I think I'll always be skeptical to a certain degree.
Hmm.
I mean, I was pretty excited about crypto in like 2016, 2017.
Hmm.
When I first That's when I first started really learning about it, and I was excited about it. I wanted to build a transparent voting platform, um, to like try to make online voting a thing.
Hmm.
Um, and I got really hyped on it, and then got kind of turned off by all the broiness.
Hmm.
Uh, I was I worked for My first job in tech was working for a company when like, you know, mobile apps were like the current hotness, and we were
Hmm.
just building. Um, we were trying to do the Peter Levels thing. We were gonna build an app a week for a year
Damn.
and see what stuck. And we built 6 apps in like 2 months, and then we were like,
Nice.
this isn't really working. Maybe we should spend a little bit more time on something.
Mm.
And um, so I think that was like my first introduction to like hype waves or maybe bullshit.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, speaking of mobile, just to digress a little bit, have you seen like Cal AI and all these like 18-year-olds becoming like millionaires off of?
Yeah, I'm skeptical. I this
Uh
Going back to my
huh. Uh huh.
skepticism. Maybe this is real. I don't know.
No, these kids are crazy smart. They're like I don't.
Are these the
They,
kids who are like have been talking for ages about like building consumer facing apps and like hacking TikTok to the
yeah,
TikTok algorithm to like
yeah,
sell the shit out of them? And
yeah.
this is that kind of group.
I think so. I think it's like I don't remember their names. But yeah, they're all like 18 to 21 ish year olds and uh, full on like the new consumer app. Like they did Cal AI, like some looks maxing thing.
Hmm.
They're just building stuff. And I think that I think with the Cal AI, like a lot of it was TikTok growth hacks to get signups.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
God,
I've seen them.
I wish I had 18-year-old levels of energy um, and carefreeness.
Dude,
But
most days it feels like you have way more energy than I do.
it's the caffeine. It's the um
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm trying to get MetaMonster to work. It's fucking cool at times and infuriating at times, aka the experience of working with AI.
Mm, checks out. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Good luck.
But Austin has been cooking,
Yeah.
and the shit is like you can see the power. We
Hmm.
make it more reliable.
I mean, like, love the multi-column stuff. Cool. I will I will try to give it a try by the next time we have a call.
Sweet. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Anything else going on with you, or you want to wrap early?
I want to bitch and moan for a second.
Do it.
Tuesday, Webflow went down for like 9+ hours, and oh my god, my life, like
Damn, that's the first I've heard of them going down.
it's the worst incident I think in all of my experience with Webflow. And like, how many years has it been?
What happened?
Um, I don't know. Nobody has said anything. My guess, to be honest, is the fact that they rolled out like an auto saving feature for
Hmm.
for the CMS thing, which is really cool on making people's lives like people love it from what I can see on Twitter. Uh, I'm just guessing like I don't know, some auto scaling fucked up or something. Because in the past, like saving to the CMS like felt very rate limited.
Hmm.
I'm guessing if it's auto saving, it's saving as you type and whatnot. So um anyway, yeah, Tuesday was rough. A lot of current client. I had to send out like a message. I have this idea in my head of like for the longest time of doing like a customer emailing list so that we
Hmm.
can tell them things about Webflow's had this update, this has this update, and kind of doing that. And even for older clients,
Yeah.
and it would have been really useful for this, but I had to go through every single Slack, send like a Webflow service thing. If your thing isn't loading, this is why. Um, Please do not burn our retainer thinking we fucked something up. And the worst part is, as it was starting to come back online a little bit, and people's sites came back online, the homepage was offline. It was 404. Everything else would work, but the homepage.
The
So
homepage of people's sites?
yeah, the homepage of people's sites. Dude, Grey Noise was
Damn.
down for for a while.
Damn.
Um, but then I had like a suspicion that if you just republished it, you like it would come back online, and then later on they sent out a thing like just hit republish. So
Maybe
when
I
I had to
don't
go,
want to move to Webflow. Maybe I want to stay with my weird ass Astro on Netlify build.
do it. I mean, it makes me like we've thought about like trying to put together like backup contingencies for some clients, especially like our larger enterprise clients that we really don't want their stuff to go down, and like
Mm-hmm.
build out like this is where I actually just need like a CTO to go figure stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
But it'd be really nice to do something like that where there's like an automatic Webflow failover, a flow over, a web flail over. Anyway, sorry. Um, that was fun. Old clients that we've never even spoken to hit us up. Of course, I haven't spoken to in a while. Like were texting me like throughout the entire day.
Were they blaming you, or were they just like, "Hey,
No, they were
what's
just like,
up?"
what? Yeah, they were like, hey. our site isn't loading. What's up? What's happening?" And I was like, "I need everyone to chill for a second."
Yeah.
Yeah, I came back online at the end of the day. But yeah, first internet snow day. It also meant that we couldn't, like, both the back end and the front end went down, so like we couldn't make any changes for anything for the longest time. So that was fun. That was really exciting. I don't know. Most of my week since last week has just been like hours on hours and hours of meetings. But
Damn.
yeah,
Sorry.
it's okay. It's fine. Yeah,
Not a fun week.
yeah. Some of it is sales, which is good. It's
Cool.
still good amount of sales work. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I didn't do my the thing I promised I would do, but for good reason. For good reason. One,
Because
was
you're
way
a
more
cheapskate.
expensive. Yes, I'm a cheapskate. It was way more expensive than I thought. And two, I could not for the life of me book another meeting onto my calendar.
Yeah.
This,
It
this,
doesn't seem like a good
yeah,
week for you to be booking more meetings.
yeah.
I'm a little worried all my like clients, like my client stuff and my MetaMonster stuff, the like user interviews I'm hoping to do for both clients and MetaMonster are going to stack all on top of each other. And I'm going to have like one Sean week and want to kill myself. But
Godspeed.
yeah.
Cool.
All right, man. Well,
I'll see you later.
I'll catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.